So I am online with this dating site called Plenty of Fish. It's a free dating service. Anyways, I was playing around with that website to see if to mask myself as a normal person, and then nothing was working. So I put myself out there. My Truman Show is my code name, and I'll reveal on my website and stuff. So I found very few they call it hooks of fish. You find very few people have latched on to me via this website, but actually more than when I was a normal person. So go figure. But anyways, this lady Paulita, anyways, I contacted her initially, and then she responded, and she responded pleasantly, and I gave her my Skype, and she got on Skype right away, and we started chatting. So, and then it was nice to actually hear a voice. So we got in Skype voice and heard each other, and so it was a real person. So that was kind of interesting, because you never know what you're getting on these sites. So one sec. And she's one second. She introduced me to or puts me as a friend in Facebook, and we are instantly friends. And what was shocking to me is that I'm assuming she saw my profile, which said that my profession is God. Okay, so and so I was kind of like so you see my profile? And she goes, yep, that's why I'm talking to you. So I'm like, that's cool. And then there's like a little bit of a confusing things being said, like, I'm Catholic, and I go to church, and that's okay and everything. And there was like I was trying to explain something, and there was a hang-up, and I was wondering what was going on there. And then there was an excuse the next day, what happened, and she has these excuses. There's like these perhaps lies going on, and she has these excuses, and whenever this occurs, it raises a red flag. And this pretty much started at day one, but when she gives the excuse, I have to sort of take it with a grain of salt. Okay, perhaps she's correct, or perhaps she's not lying. But it would turn out later that I would find out that my intuition was driving. She's not all in the up and up. So, but she did have me fooled for quite some time that maybe somebody was actually interested in me that could latch on to my eccentricities, my story and stuff. And I was kind of getting to a point where I was going to like talk with her, more about my sites, but it ended before that, and I'm going to get to what happened. But one second. Part of the deception was her knowledge of Skype and of the computer, and it's interesting that she's kind of a blockhead. At the same time, she knows exactly how to manipulate the user controls, the user's list, blocking and such, and she knows in detail how to make that happen. Although she probably doesn't even know. She doesn't even know what web browser she's on. She has no clue what Internet Explorer is or Mozilla. So I thought that was anyways. One second. The perception of her was interesting. Again, she plays herself as I want to say very virtuous. She's a Spanish teacher and a French and Spanish teacher from Colombia, and she lives in the Bahamas. And that's anyways. So again, I wish I would have talked to her a little bit more about my websites to understand where her thinking pattern is. And now it could have maybe stopped the deceit early on, but one second. what I mean is, you sort of have to flush them out out of the bushes and see if what they're really thinking and stuff. And I didn't flush them out. Didn't flush it out quickly enough. So one second. Anyways, I was legitimately latched onto this lady, and she had seemed like she was latched onto me. And we're talking about, you know, the future a little bit. You know, what can be done. Again, I didn't flush her out with my sight to ask her what's going on. So, anyways, one second. So I was in a little bit of euphoria, and that somebody actually, you know, likes me for who I am. At the same time, I also realized that, you know, let's let a week go by, and before, you know, things, you know, turn sour quick. I mean, it doesn't take long for it to go sour, but I think our correspondence lasted about 2-3 weeks. So, you know, anyways, she knew what she was doing. So I would go out to karaoke, and I would find that now that it seemed like I'm at Nison's, and Stan, this gentleman, anyways, he sets me up with a lady that's by herself, or anyways, and it's like, well, where the heck were you for like 4 years? You know, why all of a sudden I'm pretty much got somebody, and now, you know, and now you come along. You know, it's kind of like, so I go to Stan's place, and we're kind of hanging out watching TV, and anyways, I don't know what to make of that lady, but I just went home, and I just thought, well, this never happens until, of course, I know that I have a girlfriend. Of course, now there's somebody else that wants, you know, some of me, and of course I can't give it, right? So there's a conflict of interest going on here. And also from that, I started realizing that, well, I'm wondering why this is occurring. I'm also wondering why I'm, you know, playing along with it at the same time. I'm kind of curious to see where it goes, where things go. And in hindsight, after it all ended, I realized that this Paulita, it was just a setup. It was a setup to determine if I would be a hoe now that I've got a girlfriend. And that answer pretty much is yes. I mean, didn't do anything, but I was like, things were happening. Like there was a wish, like people were instilling a wish that they hope that I am not virtuous. And I'm not proclaiming to be virtuous. I am not. But if I do have, I never cheated on my wife, never had, anyways, for 15 years. So nothing. But that's what happened in the hindsight. That's what at the end I realized this was a setup to determine, yeah, if there's somebody virtuous like Paulita, which she's not virtuous. If there was one, what would I do out in the town when I'm out karaoke or whatever? And of course, that's when it seems like ladies were coming to my doorstep. Another lady, this is a few days later, same thing. It was kind of like, why is this happening? You know, now, why now when I sort of have somebody? One second. So anyways, with that first lady, she had said that she had gone to the hospital, and I'm like, I guess some kind of stomach problems, not feeling well. Anyways, I don't know whether that was a lie or not, or whether she's in some kind of contact with somebody up here, and they knew that I was like hanging out at the stands with these two ladies. Anyways, so I was like, you know, are we on some kind of spiritual link? She goes, yeah, I think so. I think I may have caused that by hanging out with this lady, and you know, it seemed like there was a spiritual bond between this lady and I. So anyways, so it was even harder to go out, and yet I felt like a compulsion, like I had to go out and just be myself or see what happens. And again, another time, another lady it seemed like, anyways. So it's kind of like the phrase, when you're not looking, that's when it happens. And so, of course, I wasn't really looking. Many times I haven't been looking, and it never occurred. So I'm trying to wonder, why is this occurring now? And in hindsight, it was basically a spiritual setup. It was a wish setup. One second. Anyways, there was we were becoming a little bit more distant in our writing, and we're trying to. Anyways, I was trying to figure this out. Anyways, what happened one night was the following. Hang on. Part of the, I'm looking up the file, the chat log, and I'm just reading some stuff. But yeah, she's also said, you know, is it going to be okay if I've had a few scars? I was in an accident, a bad accident. I got some surgery scars and stuff, some kind of hip surgery. Some of this sounds fishy. It's like, but I'm like, I don't care if you got scars, you know. I don't know. It's just one of these things. I guess you know, could have been set up to see if I would take somebody with scars. Again, a test of my virtuosity, which I don't proclaim to be the most virtuous. So, and we're making arrangements, maybe to come fly down there or something and see her, and you know, see what happens. One second. And she's got herself masked inside the Skype. That she's always hidden. She's invisible. She's, like I say, she's got this thing. There's these people that hide themselves on the internet and play these elusive games. There's people that are invisible and they can see outside and nobody can see inside. And they're basically vultures on the internet that you know, play these stinking games because they're too much of a coward to actually show themselves, you know, in real life. She makes an excuse. Well, I don't want to be, you know, want people from Australia, my friends from Australia, to bother me, and you know, it's the normal, you know, I'm a coward thing that women tend to do. So I was just whatever. Okay, whatever. I'm online all the time. I don't mask myself. I'm always visible, and I was wondering if this was just an anomaly with me, but my son's always online when he's up. His computer's running. Turns out that everybody seems to be scared of something out there, and basically everybody's a coward. That's guys, girls. They all hide themselves. They log in for a few moments on MSN, and then they disappear. So, and she's very good at being a coward. So, one time we're talking, chatting on Skype, and she has to go take care of the laundry. All of a sudden, I am becoming sexually aroused, and this doesn't just normally occur. This doesn't occur unless there is this spiritual sex. It's a wish. There's a sexual energy in the air, and I'm supposed to do my thing. So I did for like 5 minutes. Then she's back, and I'm like, did you inspire that? I was up front. I said I had to, you know, essentially take care of myself, masturbate. Was this part of your doing? And she said, I think no. But anyway, something is up. Something, because there was some kind of connect. There was something there. I don't know, you know, who set that off, that event. But I'm realizing that she is part of. Well, I'm thinking that she is some part of some circle, and I'm hoping that she is part of this. My babes, these ladies that are waiting for me. I'm hoping that she is the catalyst to be able to find those. 1 second. So, anyways, we're talking about you know, seeing her in the Bahamas, in Freeport, and I guess I thought I could at least sleep on the couch, but turns out I can't even stay at her place. So I got to figure out my ex-relatives. There's a few that live there. I'd have to give them a call. And anyways, that was Yvonne, and she said, okay, that's cool. So it almost appeared, in hindsight, it almost appears as though there was a bunch of people linked together over there in this setup, and that includes my ex-relatives over there. So, 1 second. Virtuous as she may be, she goes, you know, we probably shouldn't have sex until we really know each other and are in love. And and then she, makes mention, so, how much do you want to have sex when we're married? I'm like, I don't know, daily or at least weekly. And she goes daily. And I'm thinking, now something is up, because it's like she has no concept of what sex is. And then she's had a boyfriend for like 7 years, so nobody can be sexually daily. She must know what sex is like for that boyfriend, and now she's proclaiming that sex on a daily basis now. And yes, she's not having sex for she's like a virtuous, virgin or something, born again virgin, and proclaiming herself to be virtuous. It's hard to turn on and off sexuality like that. So it was maybe inappropriate for her to be mentioning something like that, to say something like that. Anyways, part of the deceit. It was a setup. Anyways, sometimes I say, you don't want to talk on the voice, and she goes, oh, I don't have my mic today, it's at school. And there's no reason to have it at school. I mean, there's these flags that are going up all the time with her excuses, and it's like, she claims to be a virtuous person, evidently a born again virgin, but if you lie on a daily basis, 3-4 times a day, you're not exactly being so virtuous. Even if you're conducting a game, at least do it. At least make sure, do the best to make sure you're telling the truth. There's conducting a joke in a game, and it's like even a fun game can be done with honesty. She went out one night karaokeing, and I guess she said that in a chat that she saw the doctors and nurses from her hospital visit at the karaoke place, and this is similar to what happened with Maria. So now I'm starting to detect that, now in hindsight, that this may have been a setup, big time, because it happened even with Maria, my ex. Even with her, it may have been a setup. Anyways, so anyways, one day, one chat. This is when things I'm detecting something's not. It's just we're not quite jiving anymore. But this lady named Barry. By the way, that's Yvonne's brother's name as well. So she gets on the chat. She says that Paulita has gone to the store, and she's on her computer, and now she's starting to talk like a horny lady. She's extremely horny and wants me, and she's being very explicit on this chat. And I'm like, yeah, well, this is funny. This is a setup, good one. This is funny. So we get on voice, and I'm talking with her. It's somebody different. Her name's Barry. And she's, talking dirty, like big time, X-rated, R-rated. When you get over here, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it because Paulita, she's a Catholic girl. I'm not gonna do it. So it's pretty funny to listen to this, right? So I realize it's a setup, right? Even when we were talking on voice, I could hear her whispering in the background to somebody. So I'm pretty sure that Paulita was back there, right? So we get off the voice. And she starts chatting more horny stuff, so I start chatting back horny stuff, and he's like, "Are you doing it? Are you doing it?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then I'm just like, "This is a setup. I'm just playing along. This is getting fun, right?" So I eventually decided to actually go through with it for real, and I start to, do what I do, masturbate. Anyways, and so. And I'm talking, just playing, and so I'm just like, this is fun as hell. This is the funnest thing, and I know that she's back there seeing this stuff, right? This is all set up, right? So half an hour later, Paulita gets back online. Hey, I saw the chat log. She closed it up, but I saw the history. What were you doing? What's going on? She's acting like, like virtuous, what's going on? And I'm like, well, I don't know. You and Barry were like doing some kind of experiment, right? She's like, no. And I'm like, well, this is a setup. I mean, you guys were having some fun with me, right? She's like, no. What's this horny stuff you were doing? What were you doing? Oh my good. oh my God, oh no, oh well, Chris, what were you doing? And you know, I'm like, well, what? I'm like, you know, I'm trying to. This is. I knew she could see the chat log. The Barry said she would like erase it all right, but I knew it was gonna, you know, I knew this was a setup, right? So anyways, it got. It was like, it's like, who cares? So we got off to each other. Who cares? I mean, even if it's, you know, even if it wasn't a setup, I'm like, what's the big deal here, you know? And so I'm still. Anyway, I was just sitting there, some chick, you know, I found all the funny faces, all the how you pronounce it? Emotion icons, whatever they are, emoticons, whatever they call. One second. So I'm sitting here, a bunch of horny stuff. I'm enjoying the moment because I think this is a fun night, and she's actually taking the whole thing seriously. Like, even if it wasn't a setup, it's like, how can you even get mad at this? But I haven't heard from her since then. She through her vulturous ways, she made herself completely invisible now and blocked me or whatever it is on Skype, and evidently Miss Virtuous hasn't found her right man, and that's correct. You know, enough lies. You know, lies from day one. It's like, you know. Anyways, Barry did add me as her friend inside that one, what's it called? Inside Facebook, and then they both, about 2 days later, they both went off of Facebook at the same time. That's what I'm saying. It was a setup. I mean, if Barry was actually interested, she wouldn't. It was a setup. Anyways, it's really fun times. But she finds no humor in this little game that she's played, and she conducts herself like she's virtuous, and I'm quite sure she's not too virtuous. At least in the lie department, she's not too virtuous. So she may be a Catholic girl, but they're all sinners in my book. So in hindsight, Paulita's a dirtbag, but she pretends to not be one, and those are the ones I can normally detect in person. I can detect a dirtbag in about less than 5 minutes when I'm talking with a lady. So it just took me 3 weeks with her because of the remoteness of it. But I don't know. Anyways, good riddance to her. Anyways, it was kind of fun though for a while.